Hello.
Hello,
Welcome.
everyone.
Welcome to the Pontius? What is Pontius?
Really? Easy for you to mispronounce.
Yes. I think I put too many words together there. Um, the Conscious Spirit Podcast. There we go.
There we go.
Yes. For those of you who have not been here before, welcome. I'm Pam.
I'm Mari-Lyn, and we are so glad you have joined us.
Yes. Yes. Today we thought we would, Mari-Lyn and I were just having a conversation earlier, and I was struggling with something, and
Excuse me.
the term "let it go" came up, and not in a like, oh geez, gosh, Pam, just let it go. It was more of a, can you let that go? That sort of tone. But that got us like, ooh, that term is so, when you tell someone, God, just let that go. Or can't you just let it go? Just
Yeah.
let it go. Whichever form is so dismissive.
So dismissive.
Yeah.
It's I mean, to the point of invalidation.
Ah, yes.
Right?
Yes.
I mean,
That's
totally
exactly, yes.
invalidating, dismissing
Mm,
the way someone is feeling about something,
yes.
regardless of who, what, when, where, and why.
Yes. Correct. And I think it's more about the person that says it. Because they don't, they're
You
uncomfortable
mean how
with,
uncomfortable they are?
yes. Yeah, right? Don't you
I
think?
think so.
It's like, so just, God, just let that go. But it feels so like, and please know that is not what Mari-Lyn did. That is not what she did, but we flipped it around, just talking about that particular phrase. But yeah, it's when someone says that to me, if I'm going through something and I can't let it go, which Mari-Lyn knows, it's, I'm a double air sign. I can, and I have a lot of air in my chart, and I can overthink with the best of them. And it's part of how I process. It's just not just part of me. I've done a lot of healing and stuff, but it's still, that's part of my processing thing, and I have to talk about things.
Okay, I just have to say,
Yeah,
that's just who you are is a whole nother podcast.
that's a whole nother podcast. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we might even get into that today a little bit.
Maybe.
That's I'm going to write that down.
Me too.
That's just who they are. They are, you are, they are. So, yes. So, when I hear, God, just let it go. Any way it's delivered, really, other than how can I help you let it go, like you would say to me, that type of helping type thing. But just let it go. Let it go. Ay, when are you going to let that go? Any of that throws
Or
it
how
back
about get
on
over it?
I mean, huh?
Get over it.
Get over it. Yes. Yeah. It's so, like you said, dismissive. But on the other end, of the person that sort of it's being said to makes you feel like you've done something wrong. Makes you feel like,
Sure.
oh, you mean I can just let go of this and it's like there's something wrong because you can't just let go of it. There's some wounding there's some trauma, there's some pattern, old programming or paradigm, something that is going on that is coming up for you, and you're expressing it however you're expressing it. So to have someone tell you just to let it go is really mean. I mean, it is to the I don't know
It
how,
is.
it's just
And
kind of mean.
I know people who use that Just let it go. Let it go.
Yes,
I've been
yes,
guilty of it
yes,
myself,
yes.
and it's not always meant to be mean,
Correct.
but it really is.
Yes.
Um, because even if you're holding on to something out of a habit,
Hmm.
there's still a process that you have to go through to break that habit.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
not just as easy as, oh, I can let this go. Okay, boof,
Oh
gone.
yeah.
It's
I'm
nope.
like you're holding on to something and someone tells you to let go and you open your hand and it drops.
Right.
Not that easy.
It's not that easy. Ah, if only.
Yes. And then so it's very dismissive, and to the person who said it, I think that comes from a place of just being uncomfortable. I don't want to hear this again. I'm sick of listening to this. Or there's some way that it makes that person uncomfortable, and so there's sort of a lashing out that happens and tells the other person to just let it go. Um, and sometimes, I will say that the person, because I know I've done this, I don't realize that I'm rehashing something. I don't realize that I've brought something back up again and I'm whining about it or processing it or whatever. So there, it can bring that to my attention, which is nice, but to just let it go, no.
Sure.
That's not um yeah, you can't just drop it. You can't just drop it. You have work to do within that. Because obviously there's something coming up for the person.
Hmm.
Very dismissive.
So
Yeah.
for the person saying it,
Mm-hmm.
as you were just talking about the person saying it, I kept getting that's really control. It's a way to control
Yes,
environment.
absolutely.
Yeah. And this isn't 100%. I mean, this isn't, we're not talking
Right,
absolutes
right,
here.
right, right.
But when something makes us uncomfortable
Yes,
that we don't want to hear, and we can just say, oh, just let it go, that's
yes,
really controlling our immediate
yes,
hemisphere.
yes, yes, yes. And
Yeah.
why do you put it back on the other person? I'm the one that's uncomfortable. So instead of saying just let it go to that person, why can we not say, I'm sorry, whatever. I have so much going on right now. I'm so sorry. I can't listen to this right now, or hey, can we talk about this later? I'm not in a space right now where I can be helpful. Something like that, where to be kinder about it.
Ooh, talk about being vulnerable.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah.
That that is a really vulnerable place to be able to
Yes.
say to somebody, I can't step out of myself enough to be there for you,
Yes.
which is really what you're saying anyway when you say just let it go.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Good point. Yes. That is really what you're saying, but you're being kind of selfish and snarky about it.
Uh,
Dismissive, as you would say, even.
so
Yeah.
this, I mean, this has really got me thinking because like I said, I have used that before. I have said,
Sure.
just let it go.
Yes.
And I know, I know what I mean when I say that.
Right.
Oh, excuse me. When I say that, I know what's behind it.
Hmm.
I know that I'm really saying, take a minute, take a breath.
Right.
Is this crucial to your life in this moment? Or is this something that you have to work on that happened,
Right.
something in your past that really has nothing to do with
Right.
this?
Yeah.
My brain knows all that. I never gave it a second thought that the other person has no idea what I really mean when I say, let it go.
Right. And part of that is it's painful to hear that. To have someone say, just let it go, it's very jarring, and it's you can't help but take that personal, because it is kind of
Right.
personal. Someone's telling you to shut your mouth. I don't want to hear you. Just God, just go away. Just whatever it is.
Right.
Yeah.
So, best case scenario,
Uh-huh. Okay.
someone's going on and on and on and on, and I want to say, just let it go.
Hmm.
But I do have the frame of mind, I do have the time that I can help them.
Hmm.
What is my verbiage?
Ooh, that could
Yeah.
be a lot of things.
Where do you go?
Right. It would also depend on who it is. Like with me, it would be a different, you would say something differently than you
Well,
would, right?
yes,
Yes.
yes.
Then you would, um, I'm so sorry that bothers you.
Is there something about that? Is there something you want to talk about?
Yes. Yeah.
See, and that's not even quite right. How
Yeah.
do you pinpoint that
Right.
place that
Okay.
allows that person to open up to their vulnerability of why they're so bothered?
So what just came through is step back into your, what we call a divine line, but for people who don't know that verbiage, step back into that place of compassion that we have, that our heart space.
Right.
Take a breath, get yourself grounded, and this only takes a few seconds, and say it from that place. Say it from that place, and not the scattered, oh, danger, danger, danger,
Right.
from that place.
So, a few key questions that are coming to me now are you feeling unsafe?
Ooh, yes,
Are you feeling threatened?
yes,
Are you
yeah,
are you really angry about this, or does
right,
it just sound angry?
right. Are you just really, I mean, sometimes it's just, I'm still processing something that just happened. Maybe something happened again, or, yeah. Now, as a healer, oh, go ahead.
Mhm. No, go.
As a healer, um, we would dive into that. As a healer, I
Yes.
would, for those of you who have not had one of my healings, um, we,
I'm just gonna say, put on your seatbelt while she talks about it.
my healings are not for the faint of heart. I have a healing team that's just, uh, that's, yeah, strong. They get, we get right down in there. But so as a healer, I would sit with you, get you grounded, get you ready for a healing, an energy healing. For those of you who had energy healings, um, no, it's just energy passing through you, from me through to you. Although on Zoom and distance ones, it's a little different, equally fabulous. Um, and I would ask Spirit, what is this? What is this program? What is this? Whatever, and that would come up.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. First, it would come with, this is how you're feeling. Okay, so I would get the feeling of it. This is how you're feeling. Ooh, this is the why. This is the where, and it would come up. This is wounding. This comes from trauma. This is, no, that you've healed that. This is just that, those loops in your brain that just keep going around and around. We need to get rid of those, or
That could
just
also
habit.
be a habit.
Yeah, habit.
A habit.
Yes, yeah. Which reminds me of, right there. Years ago, I was a horrible gossip. I
Mm,
was. I just, um, it felt so good to talk about other people, right? And that's obvious. That came from trauma. That was so go through life, you heal that, you move on. But there were times when, even today, if I go to talk about someone, I stop myself and go, oh, God, blah. But there's still, so for, I healed it, and then for a while it was a habit. So habits are, I'm not sure what I'm trying to say, just yes on the habit. That
Yes.
was sort of an example of what habit is.
Yes.
And
And I'm
when
going
you
to,
can catch yourself, go, oh, yikes, I'm sorry. I don't know how many times I say sorry. It's like, I apologize. I did not mean to talk about that person to you in
right,
that
right,
way. That was not
right.
kind of me. And I'm going to stop now, and I'm not going to go there.
I'm going to go one step further with the habit,
Mm-hmm.
because even things like gossip can go from a habit to an addiction.
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
And
Yes.
when it moves into the
Yes.
addiction portion,
Yes. Uh-huh.
then we are we are gossiping. We're going through that
Mm-hmm.
action
Mm-hmm.
to
Yep.
fill a hole that we have
Yes.
inside.
Yes. Yes. And I will add to that, I'm sure we've all known that person, like maybe we work with them, or maybe it's someone in our family during get-togethers where they're not even stopping to take a breath. They just have to be talking all the time. And if that's talking about a person or a situation, sometimes it sounds like gossip, which I mean it is, but it comes from that whole, if I stop talking, if I'm not then I have to feel something, then I have to
Right.
so yes, absolutely, it goes to that excuse me, almost an addiction. This
Yep.
makes me feel better, or I think it does.
It's numbing.
Numbing.
hmm
Yes. Yeah.
It's numbing. And
Yeah.
that's really what
Yeah.
any addiction does, is it numbs us to the
Yes.
truth.
Right.
Um,
Whew. Yes, ma'am.
yeah.
Okay, now that thing that we said are you done with
Yeah.
that? That's just the way they are. That works perfect right here. You had brought that up earlier,
Yep.
right? Yeah.
Yep. Oh, just the talker
Yeah.
or the gossiper.
Yep.
Oh, that's just who they are.
That's just who they are. Or that person that rants and raves and gets pissed off and throws stuff around and storms out, and everyone rolls their eyes. Oh yeah,
Yep. Yep.
that's just him. Whatever.
Yep.
Yes.
We
Whew.
are too quick to accept
Yep.
behaviors
Yes.
as being the person,
Yes. Yes.
and we are not our behaviors.
Nope.
We are
They're
not.
not our
We
experiences.
are not our experiences at all.
No.
But it is really easy to fall into grabbing onto
Yes.
being our experiences.
Yes. Yes.
And society helps us right along. That
Yep.
society does it too.
And it's not helping anyone. It's certainly not helping that person. See now, and here's the difference too. If I cry and get upset and fall apart, excuse me, people are more apt to come and that's how she is, but oh, okay, but there's always going to be someone in the room that comes and comforts you and whatever, as opposed to the person who's angry and storms out, who doesn't get that. But they're both the same in, oh, that's just the person, and
Yep. Oh, that's just who they are.
that's just who they are, and that just validates my behavior. If I'm doing that, it validates that I feel like a piece of crap. It validates that I am wounded and I am hurt and this trauma is okay. It
But it
validates
also validates
in
that
a not
lie.
so nice way. Yes,
It
absolutely.
validates the lie
Yep,
that I
absolutely.
am
Absolutely.
not okay. I
Yep.
am a
Yep.
piece of crap.
Yep.
I am
Yep.
a burden.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. And it's a lie.
It's a lie.
We are not our experiences.
No. No.
And I'm going to even go to the other extreme. of people that always put on a smile.
Yes.
Um,
As I sit
and
here
I'm
and
not going to lie.
smile.
I am not going to lie. I wish that there were more times where I could put on a smile
Yes.
when I don't want to.
Yes.
I've gotten much better over the years. I don't wear everything on my sleeve like I
Yes.
used to.
Yeah. I
But
fall into that category as well.
but there are people that walk around with a certain look about them,
Yes.
and people say, well, that's who they are,
Yep. Yep.
which can it can oh, what is that word I'm looking for?
Yes.
It's
Well, we talked about in another podcast that sometimes that can be bypassing. I'm bypassing everything. I'm putting on the Pollyanna thing.
yes, but that's not where I'm going.
Okay.
So it when that's just who they are. They're a strong person. This
Okay.
is such a strong person.
Yes. Yes.
They can handle anything.
Yes.
They don't need me to stand up for them. They don't need me on their side.
Yep.
They're strong enough. They don't need help.
Yes. Yeah.
I still don't know what word I was looking for. But it creates a blind spot. That's what it is.
Yeah.
When we say that's who they are,
Yep.
whether it's in the positive or the negative,
Mhm.
we're creating a blind spot as to who that person is at the core.
Yes. And that person needs something, is trying to get a need met.
And what do they really need? Exactly.
Yeah.
What need am I overlooking by saying that's just who they are?
Yes.
Because I can
Ooh, that's
guarantee
good.
you that person that looks so strong,
Yeah.
self-sufficient,
Yep.
they still need support. They still need love. They still need validation,
Yes.
because we are not meant to go through this life
No.
solitary.
No. That brings up a situation. I'm sure you'll remember this when I talk about it. We had a group meditation, and there was a woman that was in the group. She was fairly new to the group, and she got really triggered. And this part of this happens. People will get triggered in meditation. They're amazing meditations, these guided meditations, and they knock your socks off. And sometimes they would, I mean, everyone would be reaching for tissues, and it was, and
well,
that
they are healing.
Yes, they
are
very
healing meditations at their core. So
yes,
yeah,
yes, it got down deep into your stuff.
mm-hmm.
And this woman came out of meditation, and not very often, but often enough, because I was the messenger from spirit. It wasn't me. I was in full channel, but I'm the mouthpiece. And she came out and was furious with me because of something I said. And the people in the room immediately went to, not Mari-Lyn, but there were like 3 other people, something, I don't know. It wasn't a very big group that day. I'm glad. And sort of went to like sort of comfort her. And I remember sitting there going, WTF, man? Wait, hold on. She just like snapped she came at me. She just like daggers at me. And then later we talked about it, like those people that did that sort of caught themselves later and went, ooh, wow. They should have stayed out of it, first of all. So that made it kind of work. But they said to me, well, you're strong, you can handle it. And it hurt me what she said. It hurt at that moment.
Yeah.
It hurt me what she said. So that's that kind of thing, by assuming.
That's exactly.
Yes, by assuming that I, that I could handle that. Yeah. So that's a situation where that happens. And then them all going to help her. I'm like, that was the part, for me, that was the part that really kind of hurt.
Sure.
Was like, what?
Sure.
First of all, y'all need to be staying in your own lanes. And then second of all, this person was so very rude to me, and you went right to her for comfort. And they all acknowledged it. We all eventually had a big laugh about it. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it was not like, you know, went on, as you remember, but yeah,
I will
but that
say
was the situation.
you did handle it. And that is because you are a strong woman and you stood in your dignity beautifully.
Thank you.
However, they had a blind spot and totally left you out in the cold.
Yes. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the situation was, that was my job. So I was being a professional. I
Mhm.
wasn't going to snap back at her or anything like that. Yeah. So,
Yeah. That was a
so
beautiful night of lessons in
woo, for everyone there,
for
right?
everyone. Yeah.
Everyone. Yes. Our regulars, we all sat and talked about it. And we were all like, oh my God. And everyone was very honest and open. We all talked about it. It was really beautiful.
It was.
Yes, it was a beautiful night of healing. But that's that sort of situation. So,
Yeah.
yeah. That's just the way, you know, whatever. I don't know. And her, I think at the end of that, we actually looked at her because she had come several times and she would get triggered and whatever. And I remember saying that about her. Oh, that's just kind of she's kind of, you know, that's kind of the way she is. She just gets riled up or whatever. And not looking at her from the place of being a healer. Yeah. And part of that was because it triggered me by everyone's
Sure.
reaction. So that's another thing too. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. But I'm not sure if that made sense to anyone who's listening, but it does for Mari-Lyn and I. So
Makes perfect sense. Perfect sense.
yes. Yes. But everyone could have left and just not thought about it because that's
Sure.
just the way Pam is. It's okay and what, you know.
Sure.
So, yes,
Yeah.
that's another one of those things. Yes.
Mm-hmm. So that's just who they are,
It's just who they are.
really creates a blind spot.
Yes. Yes.
By saying, "Oh, just let it go,"
Yes.
that's also creating a blind spot.
Hmm. Hmm. Yes.
Yeah. It's
It is.
creating a blind spot as to what is this other person really
Yes.
feeling? What is really going on with them, especially when their reaction is an overreaction to whatever's happening.
And I would encourage everyone, including myself, that if you do go to that place where you say, just let it go, that's just who that is, or that's just who they are, whatever, any of those sort of dismissive sayings, to when you're in a place to, because maybe you're not in a place at the moment to hear that you just said that,
Oh, sure.
you know, when you do though, think about that, look into that for yourself, why you said, what was going on with you at the moment that you had to be so dismissive, and even go to that person, especially the person that you said, oh, just let it go. Maybe have a conversation with that person. Hopefully you can, or apologize to them, have that conversation. And you may not get anything back. That person might tell you to go, you know, pound sand. But making that reach and talking to them, it's really about you at that point. You know, if they close down and they don't, then take that as a lesson for yourself. Not to not do that again, but to just to be honest with, we all have bad days. We all say stupid things. We all get triggered. Well, that doesn't mean that we should not look into that for ourselves, to heal,
Mm-hmm.
to apologize.
And even if you go to this person and you apologize, or, you bring it up for a conversation,
Hmm.
and they're like, oh, let that go.
Yes.
Or, oh, it's no big deal. Is it really
Ooh,
no big deal?
it's no big deal. Yes, that's
It's,
another bypassing, just shut
it,
it down, not going there, not talking about it.
it is.
Yes.
And in that instance, you get to make a beautiful decision as to how vulnerable do you want to be,
Yes.
and how vulnerable do you think this other person is willing to be to really have a conversation about just about that.
Yes.
Even if the conversation is about, I don't want to be vulnerable right now.
Right. Because really, there's something there. If I'm
Mhm.
spinning out, whatever, and you look at me and say, oh, just let that go. And then we go our separate ways. You come back to me to apologize. And I say, oh, it's no big deal, whatever. I'm lying to you. That's a lie
Yeah.
because there was a reason that you said let it go to me because I was in something at the moment.
Yeah.
I was in something. So really it's wonderful for everyone to be able to talk about it. And we all know that's not everyone's going to want to talk about it
Mm-mm.
at all. But
Mm-mm.
it's really standing in our own dignity and
And that's why I said, even if you talk about not wanting to talk about it,
yes. Yeah.
just talk about the vulnerability that's
Yes.
right there in front of you,
Yes.
and be vulnerable enough to say, I don't want to be vulnerable.
Yes. And you and I have done that. It's like, yeah, I don't want to talk about this right now. Can we come back to it?
Mm-hmm.
And we do. Always do. We don't let that stuff go. But at the moment
We
we
don't
will.
let that stuff go, but there have been a couple of times where we've gone, yeah, no, we can't. We cannot come back to this. We have to talk about it now.
Right now. Yes.
Right now.
Yes.
Sometimes you have to just jump in with both feet,
Yep.
be raw,
Yep. And just
and
let the emotion come.
yeah.
Let it overpower you. Take you away. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Whew. So yeah, that just let it go. I would encourage everyone, and I speak to myself when I say this. I'm not just trying to tell other people, what to do or whatever. Um, let's all work on that. I'll say it that way. I think that's something we
Yeah.
can all work on.
I
And
think so
maybe
too.
that's not my verbiage because that verbiage doesn't ring true for me. But I know there's something there that there's some verbiage. I mean, let's face it, I'm a mom. I had to have said something like that to my kids at some point.
Mm-hmm.
When they can't, they just come
Sure.
back and it's like, and you're just wanting to, you know, I don't know, shoot yourself because you can't hear it again. I'm
Yeah.
sure. And I could probably ask my kids and they'd probably say, oh, yeah, this is what you say. Um, and so maybe I will. Maybe I will ask them.
Yeah.
Maybe I will, and they'll be honest with me. They will. They're really good about that. About being very honest with me. I think someone out there needs to hear this, and so I'm going to say it. I was very broken when my children were small, and I was the best mother I could be, and I worked at being a good mother, but there were a lot of wounding I didn't even know I had.
Mm.
And so there are things in their life that they do now as adults that I go, oh my gosh, I've done that. That was what I did. And I've gone to them and apologized and cried, and they have been so gracious to me. And I have one son that's more open about talking to it than the other, but the other one will at least go to his wife and they will talk about it. And she's lovely, and I have the best daughter-in-law ever. Um, and so he at least does, have a chance to talk it through. But I encourage every parent to apologize to their children in a very honest, open, vulnerable way and have that conversation. And believe me, it hurts like hell. Oh my gosh, it hurts for your kids to come back and say, yeah, mom, I remember when you did this and this and this, and whoo, it's painful, but we want our kids to be better than us. We do. We want them to be better than we are. So,
Mhm.
um, and it could be something like that was a saying, just let it go is a saying that you used with your children a lot. And I would encourage you to rethink that and dig in deep and be vulnerable with them and talk to them. Oh, you got to look. You're think something's coming up.
Yeah. Um, I was just thinking about a child
Mm-hmm.
in a moment of frustration
Mm-hmm.
and insisting that they calm down. Calm down. Calm down.
Oh, that's another one. Yes.
Well, what just hit me was
Yes. Yes.
saying calm down to a child that is so frustrated that they've lost their
Yes.
senses, which it's easy for a child to
Yes.
do.
Yes. And that's very much just let it go. That same concept.
Very much. That's like, I mean, you
Oh,
might as well be talking a foreign language to them.
yes. And how
So,
belittling to that child to hear that. To not, I don't understand what you're saying. What are you talking about? Is shaming. Oh, that's very shaming, isn't it?
right, but that's not how it's intended.
No?
It's trying to
Yes.
actually calm,
Yes.
to
Yes.
calm.
Yeah.
So what? So the look on my face was then what is a more loving thing to do
Yes.
in that moment when someone, I mean, it doesn't even have to be a child,
Right.
but when someone is so in it
Right.
that they can't reason.
Right. A couple things come to mind. One is sometimes if there's nothing you can say, depending on who it is or where in this big triggered moment or big outburst, sometimes it's to walk away and allow them their space for a little bit, and then ask them if you could help them. Not. I was just going to say help them calm down, but that you just can't use that word.
How can I help you?
Yes.
How can I help?
Yes. Yes.
What can I do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And what came was to
And stay
just
calm yourself.
really
Stay really calm
calm
yourself.
yourself
Yeah.
first. Yeah, really just take in that breath and be in that vibration of love.
Yes.
Um, because even if you know nothing about how to control your own energy,
Right.
you don't know what that
Right.
means, you don't know how to get grounded,
Right.
you know how to take a deep breath and calm yourself and
Yes.
feel love from your heart.
And show them by, like yourself, taking a few deep breaths,
Yeah.
and it will catch on. And now and I was trying what I was trying to do was to see myself not as the healer I am today. What would I do?
Right.
Because as the healer I am today, it's a little different than not being, and what would I do? And I was trying to picture myself in that. And I think it's sort of demonstrating, not fighting with them, not talking back, staying in a calm voice,
Mhm.
acknowledging, I can see that you're upset right now. Whatever if they start yelling or whatever, just, I hear you. I do. I hear you. Whatever. And be, sort of acknowledge what they're going through, at the same
Right.
time staying calm. Um, See, I use the word grounding. If you can ground, that's always good.
Yeah. And what's funny, you said the healer that you are today,
Mhm.
and I've got to be honest, even the healer that I am today,
Yes.
it depends on who I am confronted with
Yes. Yes.
as to, can I stand in the healer I am today?
Yes.
Or do I completely forget
Yes.
that I am a healer?
Right.
And that happens. That
Yes.
absolutely happens.
Yes.
And
True.
so just to remember, okay,
Yes.
just calm myself first.
Yes.
And
Because there are many people who, when confronted with someone who's in a
right,
an outwardly sort of trigger, that big
right,
trigger that's outward, and they're angry and they're whatever. First of all, if this person is likely to lash out or something, you just need to get out of the way. You need to leave and
very
go.
true.
We're talking about someone who might just be in an anxiety filled moment, that kind
Temper
of,
tantrum.
yes, that sort
Yeah.
of thing, where
Yeah,
no one
yeah,
else
yeah.
is in danger.
Right,
Yes. Um,
right.
but getting yourself together is a great way
Yeah.
to start.
And I think um just kind of processing this out loud,
Yeah.
that if I'm to remember, okay, just get calm and grounded, it's just going to, just taking that split second to pull myself together, spirit's going to come in and say, hello,
Yes.
you know what to do here.
Yes. 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 And if you're listening, if you are that person who has those anxiety attacks, or those moments of extreme, extreme, just extreme. That's what we call
Right.
being triggered, that extreme. Um, like
Frustration,
as we know,
fear.
some people shut down and get quiet, or look like nothing is going on, nothing is wrong. But we're
Right.
talking, but the other, really either way, I guess, however that happens, really stop at some point. Know that you have some trauma there that needs to be healed. You have real trauma that that needs looking after for your own well-being, for you to get healthy.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, and and it's not, everyone has it. Everyone has trauma. We've talked about that many times.
Yeah.
Everyone
Yeah.
has trauma.
Everyone.
It may look different, but everyone has it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. So let's try not to, boy, that's good. Trying not to use those particular, that's just who they are. Oh, calm down, or just let it go. Um, those are all very shaming. They're all very shaming. They're saying there's something wrong with you, not me. I'm the perfect one here, and I'm the arbiter of whatever, and I'm the controller of the situation, and I'm just going to say those words. And it's very shaming to the other person. It's very hurtful. And if someone is mad, I'm going to tell you they're going to get madder. If someone is really sad or something, it's going to make them sadder.
Mm.
Those verses, those don't help anyone. Yeah. But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, that kind of, yeah, as we do, we kind of get off on many subjects here, or many.
Well, that's how our conversations go.
Yes,
I
true.
mean,
These are our conversations.
they really are.
Yeah. Yes. So, whew, does this feel like an ending place?
I think that feels kind of like a wrap up. It does.
Yes. Yes. So,
Yeah. I think one other thing on like a recap
yeah.
of that, let it go. It's really, do you want to be dismissive
Yes.
of how this person is feeling,
Yes.
or are you willing to acknowledge how they're feeling and allow them the process,
Yes.
and
I
allow yourself maybe even to help?
I just had something that came through as you were speaking. I was in like a coffee shop, I think it was, because you had to go up to the counter, so I'm sure it was a coffee shop, as you're drinking your your coffee or your tea. Um, and the person at the register was just snarky and could tell she was just having a horrible time. And the woman in front of me who was ordering, instead of taking that personal, she said to the woman, "I hope your day gets better." And you could see the person behind the register. She was like, what? It shook her out of it. Like she did. I really don't think she even realized that she was doing it. So that's a piece of this too. Sometimes we don't, most of the time, we don't even realize we're in that state doing that behavior that's irritating the hell out of other people, or causing some sort of friction. Because when we are in that state, we're talking energetically, we
Right.
fling that energy at people. We fling it around.
It's
How many
true.
times, all of us have been in a job of like customer service, right? And you get that nasty customer and it
Mhm.
could like take out the rest of your day.
Yep.
That's them taking their energy and flinging it on you. And then if you have it flings right into your wounding, is what it does. And then we turn around and act unkind,
Right.
and we don't always realize
Don't
it. We
always
don't always
realize
notice
it.
it. So I still remember that. That was years ago. And yeah. And she was genuinely saying, "I hope your day gets better." You could tell
Not
this
one of
woman,
those passive aggressive,
no,
have a nice day.
no, not at all. "I hope your day gets better." And she said it very kindly. At least
Yeah.
that's the way I heard it. But I remember the woman behind the counter, it like shocked her out of it, or it shocked her into noticing. So sometimes the person doesn't even know
Yeah.
they're doing whatever that
Very true.
behavior is.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah.
Yes. Hmm.
Very true.
So, okay, that yawn says we're done.
Okay.
We thank everyone so much for tuning in. Again, this is on, I'm not sure where you're getting this from. It could be from one of the many podcast apps that it's on. YouTube, the Conscious Spirit Podcast. There's all of, and then YouTube, we also have TCS Everyday Psychics.
That
And
would be our
is
paranormal channel.
that's our paranormal channel on YouTube, if you want to check that out, if you have not already. If you have, we don't normally do this here, but I'm feeling called to do this. If
Absolutely.
you have paranormal activity, you know someone who does, please send us, email us. All the links are below wherever you're listening to this. You can go to tcseveryday.psychics.com. And contact us. You should not live with activity. It's
It is not healthy.
it's not healthy in
It's just
any
not good.
way, emotionally, physically, and you may even be in the place where you don't even realize. We get that a lot. "Oh no, I like it. Oh, they're my friends," or it's like, "Oh," and then we clear it out and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I had no idea that I felt so bad all the time." So please reach out if you have activity and you'd like it cleared. So, okay, it's enough of that spiel. Thank you, Mari-Lyn. This was another fun podcast.
I love our conversations.
I do too.
Yep.
And these are conversations, seriously, and I know we have these all the time, whether it's recording or not, whatever.
Well, and even this one, we started this conversation.
Yep.
And you said, "Oh my gosh, this would have been a great one to record." Oh, okay, let's record.
Yeah, let's start over. Yes.
Yeah.
So we did. Yeah. Thank you so much, everyone. We are so grateful to have you in our community. If you want to know our services or you have questions, whatever, let us know. Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.